Hello, welcome to Rosemary's Kitchen. It's been a while. Yes, it really has been a while, but as we're working on the cookbook, Carolyn's got the camera in her hand as we speak. Here, say hello, Carolyn.
Hello.
We are making something today that you're either going to really love, as I do, or ooh. The amount of people who turn their nose up at liver is amazing. But liver, when I was growing up, was a staple. We didn't have the money to buy all the fancy meats. So we ate a lot of offal, and liver actually is so full of iron and it's so delicious, so really good. And I make this phenomenal liver pate. My daughter hopefully today is making liver pate even as we speak in her own kitchen. So we're starting with, in the pan, if you can get in there, I don't know if you can get in there, Carolyn, we've got shallots which are finely chopped, and 2 ounces of butter. We've got, because I'm making actually double the quantity that is in the cookbook. So you chop the shallots nice and finely and you cook them in the butter till they're nice and soft. If you can check, make sure we don't want them nastily brown, we just want them cooked to nice and soft, and then add it to that after they've been cooking for sort of 2 to 3 minutes on a low heat, nice and soft. We add the garlic. Never put garlic and onion together and cook it all together because it will go sticky. You've seen that, right? You've seen it where it goes nasty, sticky stuff. So if you cook the onions first a little bit and then add your garlic, then that way you prevent all that stickiness and it's a much more even cook. So now to this has all been cooking nicely. Don't look at this part if you don't like liver, because this is the part that you might not like. This is the part which I love, and of course Couture really loves. All right, so we're going to now add the livers, and now the livers have been soaking overnight. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit here. The livers I have been soaking overnight in full fat milk. I'm assured that the full fat milk will draw out all of any of the impurities or nastiness that is in the liver, and it does seem to work, I have to say. So I always put my livers in a basin with, let's put this up a little bit. I always put my livers in a basin, cover it with full fat milk and leave it overnight. Now we're going to cook these livers just for 3 or 4 minutes, and we're going to cook them until they are just slightly pink in the middle. So we don't want to overcook the liver. We want to cook it until it's just pink in the middle but cooked nicely. You can hear it sizzling away as we go along here, and you can soon see when liver's starting to cook because it just starts to change colour. So I'm going to just leave that there. And what we're going to do is, when these livers are cooked, then I'm going to add some port. Now you can use port, brandy. I've known people use whiskey. I prefer brandy. I didn't have any this morning when I went to the cupboard. I must have drunk it all. So I'm using port, which I love just as well. You don't have to have an expensive port or an expensive brandy, because remember what we're going to do is, once these livers are cooked, we're going to transfer them into this nice big pot, my favourite tool in the kitchen. We're going to keep cooking these and just cook them and turn them until they are nicely browning, and you can see and you can hear the sizzle on them. And we're going to put all of that in there, and then when we put all of that in there, we're then going to put the alcohol in the pan, and we're going to cook it, reduce it down a little bit and burn off the alcohol. So why don't you come back and join me when we do that in a minute. So we've cooked the livers. Now normally I would put them straight into the blender, but I'll put them in a bowl so you can see what they're like. They're nicely, beautifully cooked, even though you wouldn't eat them, Carolyn.
Oh,
right?
It smells delicious, yes.
So now we're going to put this this hot plate on sort of around sort of medium high, and that's the port. And you've noticed that I did not clean the pan. Do not clean your pan. Don't ever clean your pan when you're making these sorts of things. It's like when you're making delicious Spanish rice, everything goes in the same pan. The same with paella or anything like that. You know, you're getting the flavours and the juices from everything you're cooking in the pan, so do not wash the pan. Now you want this port, or if you're using brandy or whatever it is you're using, you want it, we're going to do what is known as reducing it down, which is we're burning off the alcohol, and as we burn off the alcohol, the liquid is going to reduce down. And you can see I'm going to, it's, you know, on a fairly high. I'm going to turn it up a little bit because I want it to bubble and bubble, toil and trouble. I feel a bit like one of those witches, you know, making my... And there are people out there who would say that I am a witch, so let's not disappoint those people. So I'm going to just give it a tiny stir because there's all the residue from that liver that I would also like to get in that port. And I have to, even though it's a few little steps, I have to tell you that this is, excuse me, oh God, excuse me, the alcohol's getting right down my throat there. We're going to keep reducing it down for a little bit longer. And while that is reducing down a little bit more, I'm going to transfer these livers right into this pot, which, as I say, normally it all get thrown in straight out of the pan and into the pot. Oh, it smells so good. And if you are one of those people who really does not like liver, this is the moment you should switch off. Don't put yourself, please don't put yourself through the trauma of watching me cooking this liver. It's not worth it. And just throw all that in the pot. Let's have a look at our port. Nicely reduced down, fraction more, but you can see it's about just a bit less than 2/3. I'm going to turn it up to high, if only I can find it. There we are, just to reduce it down a little bit more. And this, then I'm going to pour this straight over these livers, and then we take the next step. This is the easiest thing in the world to do. So when you see the recipe in the book, it is going to be called, we think, Rosemary's Kitchen. We'll let you know if it isn't. And when you see the recipe, don't put off by all the different steps, because really, if you prepare everything beforehand, as I always do, I cut the onions, the garlic, all of that. I prepare everything. I weigh my flour, so I'm ready to go. If you can just do that, and then the steps are so easy after that. So let's just turn the heat down, and you can see now it's less than half of the liquid that we had. And what's happened to my wooden spoon? Here we go. And I'm going to try to scrape again. I'm going to get all those juices, voila, into the pan. Okay. Now again, back on the heat, but I've reduced the heat a little bit. Remember, I'm making double the quantity, so this seems like a huge amount of butter to put in, but normally if you just do the pound of liver, I've done 2 pounds. If you do a pound of liver, it's a half a pound, 8 ounces of butter. And as most of you will know when you watch mine, I always use Kerrygold because Irish butter seems to have much less water in it, and I think it's probably a fact that it has less water in it and more of the good stuff. And I think Irish butter and it's probably the best in the world. I know I can hear some of you disagreeing right now. English butter is also really excellent. American butter seem to have a lot of fluid in it, which has nothing to do with the cow, just let me tell you. So I don't know what this is in it, but Irish butter is basically known throughout the world to be much purer. Now I want this butter, I'm turning it up now to high because I want it to start to cook until it's nice and frothy, really frothy. So I'm leaving that there. In this little pot here we have a mix of spices and salt. So we've got nutmeg and I can't remember what's in there now. Nutmeg and ground pepper, and there's 4 things in there, plus the salt. Of course my brain has gone blank, but look in the recipe book, you'll see it's all there. So we're going to get this butter to a frenzy now. I want it to be frothing. I want it to be really, really frothing up, and that's pretty much what it's doing. Cooking, cooking, cooking. It's going to brown a little bit. Then I'm going to throw all these spices in here. Now, just to let you know, when you do the half a recipe, it doesn't look like it's swimming in fat. So just remember again, I've thrown all those spices in. They need literally 10 seconds, 20 seconds, that's it. So then put those spices into the butter, and then we're going to take that off. And there we have it. And you can see the butter sort of foams around the edges there. And that's how you want it. And it looks dirty. Well, I've just put pepper and I put nutmeg and what else have I put in there? I can't remember, but whatever it is. All those 4 different salts and spices, and the recipe for that is also in the book. And we're going to just, yes, see, easy it is. We want all of that, whatever that is, we want that as well. Okay. Now, over to the other side of the kitchen, my dears. Did I miss anything? The only thing I've got left to do now here is to add the cream. So, you see how simple and easy it is. It's shallots, it's a 4 spice mix, it's liver and it's butter. It's, and I've lost the lid off, there it is, and garlic. So we're going to put it on pulse, on low a little bit. I guess I didn't put it on low, did I? I forgot, I put it on full, but no. Oh, gosh, look at this. You won't want to see it. It looks all muddy and nasty and grungy and... Now what happens is, because it's all, you can say, well, that doesn't look like pate at all in there. Well, actually, it's all going to set, the butter's going to set. And to this little pot now, I'm just going to add some cream. There's probably about, I'm going to get, say, 4 ounces in here. I'm just going to dump that in. And again, the recipe's in the book. And what you want this to look like is you want it to sort of look a little bit pale. I like mine sort of pale and creamy, so I'm going to give it once more. Really, really thorough. And there you have it. Okay, now one might argue for a little bit more cream, and as I'm a big cream eater, I'm going to argue for a little bit more cream. So let's throw that in, a little bit more. Do it to your own, you know, taste and the look of it. That looks perfect to me now. And then you pour it into moulds. For our purposes today, I'm just made, because I've made this for somebody else as well, so I'm just going to put, and just pour it into these little cups here. And you can give this away. People who love pate will love you for this. I'm just going to just pour it in. Yes, I know, it doesn't look like pate at all, does it? But trust me, it will taste really good. And let's do these as well. For me, these are mine, my individual ones. If you want to make this and you want to freeze it, I have to tell you that this freezes absolutely wonderfully. Bingo. So it probably makes here, we probably got, I don't know, $20, $30 worth, maybe more. If you went to the store to buy it yourself, that would be how much it cost, and I think it cost me less than $10. So, and it's the best pate ever. So we're now going to leave it to set, and then you serve it with toast points and more butter if you want it on the toast points, and or crackers, and it's absolutely delicious. Well, that's it. There's my liver pate. Thank you for joining us in Rosemary's Kitchen, and we shall see you next time. In the meantime, thank you to Gregor, who's been looking over my shoulder the whole time. We've been cooking, helping me out here, and my dad always joins me in the kitchen too, so he's around somewhere smiling away. So until I see you again, please, 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 yes, you know what I'm going to say, have a very, very, very blessed day.